Soundwave would make his live action debut in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. He would appear in a brief role aiding the Decepticons disguised as a satellite in space. But did you know that Soundwave was originally supposed to appear in the first Transformers movie? In this episode of Secret Files, we explore the inclusion and eventually exclusion of Soundwave from Transformers 2007. Fans of the Transformers franchise were left disappointed when Soundwave wasn't included in the first live action movie. The Decepticon, instantly recognisable for his disguise of a microcassette recorder, is one of Transformers' most popular characters. Soundwave's popularity led him to winning a poll in 2007, naming him as the character fans most wanted to see in a sequel, but there had originally been plans to include Soundwave long before Revenge of the Fallen. Since the announcement of the first Transformers movie, issues surrounding Soundwave's inclusion were apparent. Producer Don Murphy claimed he did not want to include size shifting in transformations. This term refers to a transformer physically changing its size when switching between their robot and alt mode, with worries that this would affect the realism of the movie. This put the inclusion of Soundwave into question, as his alt mode of the microcassette recorder requires him to considerably shrink in size. Discussions were had whether he would be a part of the movie, or if his alt mode would have to change in order for him to be featured. In this instance, the latter ended up being the case, as Soundwave was redesigned to transform into a helicopter, heavily straying from the character that is depicted in other continuity. Early leaked scripts of the movie referenced Soundwave's alt mode being that helicopter, and this was later confirmed at San Diego Comic-Con 2004, when Hasbro announced this would indeed be the case. Soundwave's role would also lead to the inclusion of Ravage, his minion, with the pair considerably altering the events of the movie. The initial script featuring Soundwave and Ravage would change the desert scene to instead take place in the jungle, and would have had a scene where Ravage chases Lennox and his crew. Following the announcement of Soundwave's alt mode the previous year, early animatics of the character as a blue helicopter were revealed at the 2005 Comic-Con, but these were poorly received. This reception would throw the question as to whether it was the right decision to make Soundwave a helicopter, with Hasbro pushing back on the idea and urging for his alt mode to instead have something to do with music. This pushback led to the helicopter Decepticon being redesigned and eventually being renamed to Blackout. Some of Soundwave's characteristics were left in the movie, Blackout's strong loyalty to Megatron being remnants of Soundwave's personality. With this change being made, it meant Ravage also had to be reworked, with him ending up becoming Scorponok, and thus the original jungle setting was then switched to the desert. But this wasn't the end for Soundwave, as the team still wanted him to appear in the movie, and work began to rewrite him as a different character. The second attempt to include Soundwave would have seen him transform into a Humvee, as well as taking the form as a portable stereo, therefore going back on the initial report of wanting to avoid size shifting. In this new role, Soundwave would have infiltrated the CIA headquarters using his stereo mode. He would then later escape by transforming into the Humvee and go on to track down Sam Witwicky. But the makers of the movie still weren't happy with Soundwave's portrayal, the Humvee part of his depiction ending up turning into what would become Barricade, leaving Soundwave just as the portable stereo. It would eventually be decided that this still wasn't the right fit for Soundwave, and the decision was made to completely remove him from the movie and save him for the sequel. The stereo transformer would end up going through a variety of changes and names, but of course, in the end, it became Frenzy. So what do you think? Were you a fan of either of these versions of Soundwave that were proposed for the 2007 Transformers movie? Soundwave as a helicopter? Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and why not drop a like on this video, and until the next one, thanks for watching.